Apple's popular iPhone Pro Max variant often receives significant design enhancements and features first. If they are popular, Apple then promotes them to other devices. It's likely that a smaller dynamic island will be the disguise for the next upgrade to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Digital Chat Station published the most recent rumors about Apple's next high-end phone on the well-known leaker Weibo. They discussed a Metalens for Face ID that would combine the transmitter and receiver in order to minimize thickness and size. The dynamic island, which iPhone users have coveted since Apple introduced the selfie camera, will now be smaller as a result of this. In short, Metalens are flat lenses that use metasurfaces to concentrate light instead of curved lenses that bend light in the direction of the image sensor. These traditional lenses cannot be as thin as Metalens because of the necessary curvature. DCS believes that the Metalens and smaller dynamic island that come with the forthcoming top-end iPhone will also be included in the iPad Pro and the long-rumored foldable iPad. A significant component of the most recent iPhone versions, the dynamic island lets users to swiftly and simply check their alerts. Additionally, the dynamic island is home to Love Tiles, which are essentially widget-friendly apps. A more seamless appearance for the display would result from a smaller dynamic island. There have also been reports that Apple may take a hint from Google's design for the iPhone 17 by incorporating a camera bar on the rear. The phone's architecture has left us with more riddles than answers. We've heard that it might be made with a titanium design, but we've also heard that it won't be. However, the iPhone 17 Pro Max's potential for 12 GB of RAM is far more exciting. A CAD render leak has suggested that this aesthetic tweak may also be coming to the base versions. So when Apple formally releases the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max later this year, it may be aiming a new design. But according to a YouTuber, the company would continue to use the same camera setup, with the rear now exhibiting characteristics reminiscent of Google's Pixel line. According to a variety of sources, John Prosser, who recently returned from a break and kept his audience informed via his front page tech channel, has been told that the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max will get a redesign, at least from the rear. It is predicted that Apple will take a different technique, beginning with the camera bar, rather than a flat rear side that houses the triple camera cluster and the LiDAR sensor. This adjustment may signal that Apple will line its next products more closely with the Google Pixel 9 series, even if the models show that the camera will cover a wider surface area. According to sources, the company incorporates a back microphone, an LED flash, and a LiDAR unit vertically on the right side, with the rear camera cluster on the left. The camera bar of the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max may feature a darker finish than the rest of the chassis later this year, signifying Apple's transition to a two-tone finish. Despite the fact that last year's iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max had larger screens, it's plausible that Apple noticed that consumers were becoming weary of seeing the same design every year. This poor reception may have led to Apple's iPhone sales being marginally lower in the company's Q1 2025 earnings than it was in the same period last year. This transition, combined with the launch of Apple Intelligence in other nations, such as China, might have a good effect. However, we will recommend our readers to take all of this information concerning the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max with a grain of salt, in light of John Prosser's inconsistent reliability history. We shall return with fresh updates from our end. Next, it looks that Apple will unveil a new model next year, whether it is called to as the iPhone 17 Air or the iPhone Slim. And this predicted gadget should be a very thin phone, regardless of the name it goes by when it releases in the fall of 2025. Rumors of a slimmer iPhone 17 model have been around for a while, but we've heard about new Apple iPhone models that never came to pass. Do you remember the iPhone 16 Ultra? It would also likely be consistent with Apple's recent trend toward thin iPads and MacBooks. We're still getting used to the iPhone 16 series, so it's still early for any iPhones that Apple expects to offer in 2025. However, there are now enough predictions around the iPhone 17 Air to offer us a sense of what Apple might be working on. Additionally, we would like to highlight a few goods from our wish list for the iPhone 17 Air. With every Apple smartphone introduced in the past 10 years coming out around September, with the exception of the iPhone 12, which was unveiled in October due to coronavirus, iPhone release dates are extremely predictable. Because of this, it's extremely likely that the iPhone 17 Air will ship in September 2025, barring a postponement to 2026 or its outright abandonment. Additionally, there are speculations that the iPhone 17 Air started production in December 2024. It is more tough to predict the pricing because the iPhone 17 Air appears to be a little deviation from Apple's current lineup. Apple has offered 4 iPhone models for the last 3 years. The conventional iPhone, the slightly bigger Plus model, which costs an additional $100, and 2 iPhone Pro versions, which include the regular Pro and the larger, more costly Pro Max. It is predicted that the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max will stay in the lineup, along with the conventional iPhone. Therefore, the iPhone 17 Air may be regarded an alternative for the iPhone Plus. According to some sources, the iPhone 17 Air would start at $899, which is logical if the iPhone 16 Plus is the model the Air will replace. Other rumors, however, imply that we may be looking at a gadget that is more expensive than the Pro Max, which the iPhone 16 Pro Max currently starts at $1,199. This new iPhone model's most remarkable feature is presumably going to be how compact it is, as the label Air implies. Although we don't yet have a definite measurement, it is believed that the aluminum chassis would be much thinner, suggesting that the device would likely dramatically undercut the iPhone 16's 7.8mm depth. In fact, according to a June 2024 article by Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, this precise iPhone is projected to belong to a new class of Apple devices that should be the thinnest and lightest products in the whole tech industry. The target might be to surpass the 2024 iPad Air, 6.1mm, or possibly the 2024 iPad Pro, 5.3mm. According to at least one recent leak, the iPhone 17 Air's thinnest point might measure 5.5mm. A 6.6-inch OLED display, which is just somewhat smaller than the 6.7-inch panel on the iPhone 16 Plus, is claimed to be supported by this thin frame. The titanium frame of the previous 2 iPhone Pro versions may not be incorporated into the iPhone 17 Air, which is expected to employ aluminum like other iPhones. Apple might combine OLED screens with a new technology called touch and display driver integration to lower the size of this gadget. By merging a screen's touch and display layers, the technology minimizes the panel's total thickness. But there is a story on the Korean website Naver that raises questions about how small the iPhone 17 Air will be. Apple apparently isn't adopting a battery with a smaller substrate because of technological problems and costly expenses. If this is genuine, Apple may find it incredibly tough to make the gadget significantly smaller than 6.6mm. In addition to confirming speculations of a 6.6-inch iPhone 17 Air, analyst Jeff Pugh included further plausible specifications in his October analysis, which we'll speak about as the video goes. The 120Hz ProMotion feature, which Apple has previously reserved for its Pro phones, is reported to be supported by the OLED panel. The iPhone 17 Air is supposedly going to be 6mm thick, according to a recent leak. Given that the iPhone 6 is 6.9mm thick, it might be thinner. On the other hand, the 13-inch iPad Pro, which is only 5.1mm thick, will still be the thinnest Apple product. However, there appear to be 5mm thick iPhone 17 Air prototypes. Beyond simply making the iPhone 17 Air small, Apple may potentially experiment with an entirely other design language. A Google Pixel-style horizontal bar that spans the entire width of the phone for its sensors is used by some leakers to infer that the phone has centered cameras, while other sources have questioned the latter. Since Apple hasn't tried any of these designs before, it might be a smart approach to display this phone as distinct among iPhones, but we don't know how nice it looks in real life, at least not in the renders. A leak purporting to depict 2 iPhone 17 Air shells with a horizontal camera bar prominently displayed on the back lends extra validity to this hypothesis. The Desert Titanium colorway of the iPhone 16 Pro was properly predicted to exist ahead to its debut by leaker Maijin Bu, who provided these pictures. It made sense that the A19 system-on-chip would be used in the iPhone 17 series, which includes the Air, as the A18 and A18 Pro chipsets power the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Pro models. The degree of the silicon's advancement is disputed though, as a source suggests that Apple won't have a chip built using a 2-nanometer process until the iPhone 18. If accurate, this means that the A19, which powers the iPhone 17 Air, is a 3-nanometer chip comparable to the A18. This means that there is possibility for slight performance improvements. In order for the iPhone 16 models to accommodate the new Apple Intelligence features, Apple upgraded the RAM to 8 gigs. This is probably likely to stay the case with the iPhone 17 Air, since only the iPhone 17 Pro Max is anticipated to receive an update to 12 gigs of RAM. The iPhone 17 lineup as a whole is susceptible to more current rumors surrounding its specifications. An Apple-made Wi-Fi chip, for example, is projected to be incorporated in phones that are introduced in the fall of 2025. This contrasts with the Apple-developed modem that is slated to make its debut with the iPhone Southeast 4 in early 2025. Rumors about the iPhone 17 Air's battery haven't fully come to pass yet. It's something to monitor because it would be tough to add a battery as large as the 4,674 mAh power pack present in the iPhone 16 Plus due to the phone's smaller size. The current Plus's battery and the effective A18 chipset helped it gain a place on our list of the top phones with the longest battery life. Apple is apparently investigating a new form of glue to secure the batteries of its phones, according to a report that covers all iPhone 17 models. This glue would make it simple to remove the battery with minimal force, which would expedite battery replacement for your phone. So, if you have any questions or comments, please write them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more tech news. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.